It's been months since CSGO last received an update worth covering. Then, suddenly, last night, they finally rolled out some new translations. It's clear to me that Counter-Strike's dead, so from now on this channel's going to cover Left 4 Dead content instead, starting with the Last Stand update. It's not like Valve made this either, since even this is created entirely by the Left 4 Dead community. Here are the 30 community members that Valve have worked with to create this new update. Thank you, people. If only there was a community around CSGO willing to produce content for that game. At the centre of this Last Stand update is, unsurprisingly, the Last Stand campaign. This is shorter than most campaigns, being just 2 levels long, but the first level is a long one and contains many memorable and enjoyable moments. The second one isn't quite so long, since most of it is set around a lighthouse, waiting for rescue to arrive. Kind of standard for a final level of a campaign, really. This lighthouse level was originally an update that was rolled out to the first Left 4 Dead. While with most campaigns, if you held out for long enough then you'd eventually be rescued, the Last Stand was rather morbid in that it had no end to it. Players were expected to hold out for as long as they could before finally succumbing to the zombie horde. A bit like CSGO players waiting for an update in 2020. The Last Stand was never considered a proper part of the Left 4 Dead story, so I guess this made it a prime candidate for an overhaul like the one we're seeing here, where it's been extended into a proper campaign, complete with proper ending to it, so that the survivors live to die another day. All in all, I'd say this campaign is a decent chunk of new content. I found the holdout at the end to be harder than with most campaigns, since it feels like there are more stages to it, and at the end of it you really have to run a long way to reach the boat, whereas the zombies can simply dive off the cliff and get there in a matter of seconds. It makes for quite an intense finale as you're running about trying to pick up other players who plummeted to their deaths, or who got stuck on that annoyingly placed boat in the entrance to the shed and so on. But this new campaign is just a fraction of what's come out in this update. You also have 26 new survival maps, which I refuse to call new content since all they've done is to get pre-existing parts of the campaign levels and to cordon them off. But, you know, it's there if you want them. And 4 new scavenge arenas, bringing the total up to 20. Again, it's got to the point where there are so many you don't know what to do with all of them. It's like trying to play every level of UT 2004. The stuff I personally care more about are the tweaks and additions that change the campaigns. The biggest change for me is the increased shotgun ammunition, which has gone from 56 to 72 reserve shells. And it's about time, because I'd almost always run out with the shotgun, whereas I'd never run out with the SMG. So this should help bring balance to the force once more. There are a few new melee weapons like the pitchfork and shovel. You might think they're all the same, but there are subtle differences between how they each operate. For instance, the shovel has a wide attack range, while the pitchfork is faster, which makes it better for dispatching of lone zombies. As well as this, there's new, previously unused dialogue between the survivors. A welcome touch for anybody who's familiar with the characters, and who thought they knew every Keith story there was to know. There are new mutations, which are twists on the core gameplay to make it all feel fresh again. I'll admit, I've never actually played this game with mutations before because I still haven't tired of the vanilla gameplay, but I did have a lot of fun with the new Rocket Dude mode. You're given a melee weapon and a grenade launcher and can use it to launch yourself across the map. The grenade launcher has infinite ammo and fires rockets, which travel in a straight line. You won't sustain any damage from the blasts or from falling damage. I felt like a god in this mode, diving from rooftop to rooftop, alerting witches and teasing tanks. It's definitely worth a go. And the other new mutation is Tank Run, which shouldn't exist and is really stupid. There aren't any common infected, and all of the special infected are tanks, meaning you're almost always fighting one of these things, and have unlimited ammo to play with. I played it on easy mode and the tanks died really quickly, but it was still annoying to have these things spawning in front of me whenever I was trying to do something, so I can't say I'm the biggest fan of this mode. But hey, maybe you are into being endlessly pounded by big burly men. And on top of all of this, there are 30 brand new achievements as well. This whole update's such a feature dump that it's almost like going from UT 2003 to 2004. Yes, that may sound like an outdated reference, but those games are only a few years older than Left 4 Dead at this point. There's now a golden crowbar to find in all 22 Left 4 Dead 1 survival maps. Some of them are quite sneakily placed, but you're rewarded for finding all of them with an achievement. This could also be a callback to Unreal Tournament, which also like to hide golden crowbars in hard to reach places. And onto the bug fixes. There are over 1,000 of these to cover, so this could take a while. Actually it won't, because I'm not going to go through all of them, but to summarise, they fixed literally every problem anybody has ever had with this game. Left 4 Dead 2 is now completely bug-free, or it might as well be, because I never really had a problem with it before, and now it's even better than that. You've got fixed exploits, improved bot behaviour like them only eating pills if below 50 health, or medic kits when below 30. Survivors who are knocked down while in the escape vehicle are now counted as rescued. Thank goodness for that. And for some reason, which I still don't get, Counter-Strike's source weapons are now available for all players and can sometimes be found in the regular campaigns. Why the game needs a low poly AWP, I don't know. But hey, more content I guess. Animations, map layouts, models and dialogue have all been patched. Seriously, if this was a CSGO update where I actually knew what I was doing, I'd be able to make a dozen videos about this. But as it is, I'm stuck reading off the patch notes. What a shame. Oh, and for those of you who play on a controller, it's now got improved support. PS5 edition confirmed. The Last Stand update. A lot more content for Left 4 Dead 2's many game modes, and 10 years worth of bug fixes. What it's not is Source 2, or an update for CSGO, or a promise that more might be coming later on. But it's a sign that Valve moves in unexpected ways. 2020, year of a new Half-Life game, and new content for Left 4 Dead. It's proof that anything's possible, aside from interesting new CSGO content. If you asked me what I'd want from a CSGO update, I'd say that I want the convincing movement seen in Half-Life Alyx. That and more co-op stuff. The idea of a campaign that players could work cooperatively to beat could perhaps heal the toxic attitude that's built up around the game. Something Left 4 Dead has never really suffered from. But then I think to myself, if I want that, there's always Left 4 Dead, isn't there? They've even added a rematch option to the end of the versus survival matches. A far cry of what happened to that feature in CSGO. Give it a go if you haven't already. Looks like it's currently full price on Steam, which equates to about $10. But it's worth every penny. If you're new to the game, I'd say just to boot it straight up and to launch a campaign on easy or normal difficulty. The bots will help you through it all and it'll gently introduce you to the game's pacing, weapons and enemies. And Ellis's sick jokes. Stylo reached out to me to let me know that he's finished a guide on it, which contains all sorts of cool information about its development and the differences between different infected and melee weapons. Although I've played the game extensively, and for long enough to suspect certain aspects of the game's mechanics, it is very interesting to be able to see behind the scenes at how exactly everything works. Give it a view, link in the video's description.